Thank you for watching Hot for Tapas, where I make all kinds of tapas. I am recapping on a beautiful medley I put together yesterday. I made cabbage rolls. It turned out so good and it was so successful with the family. I've decided to do a tapas on the medley that I made. Combine it with different ideas that you can incorporate for your tapas style meals. I chose a variety of different carbohydrates to mix with my medley. If you don't want the richness of a carbohydrate, you can just put together the medley with the cabbage leaves like I did yesterday. And I'll go through one very quickly with you again. I've chose a really beautiful wheat bread, just an artesian loaf. And I chose a tortilla for a small wrap, brown rice, my cabbage leaves, as well as pasta. I don't know if people typically use pasta in a lot of tapas, but I like to use everything. And remember, you can always pick out any type of cracker too to combine with your medleys. This one has Italian sausage. I cubed up the rest of the ingredients that I'm going to give you right now, as well as list on hotfortapas.com. And that is the summer squash, eggplant, apple. I also put carrot, and I mixed my sausage with that. I put it with olive oil, salt, pepper, dried Italian seasonings, and for something different, which did make it special, I used cinnamon. Not very much. I'm also going to combine walnuts that I have right here. And if you have something left over, use your toppings very last, any of your grated cheeses, your nuts, or your extra special dressings. In this case, I'm going to use honey, because it will save better. And you want the textures of your toppings to be fresh. So I like to put them at the very end. If you put them in the refrigerator, especially your nuts, they're just going to become soggy from the moisture of the other foods you have with it. And I want them to be a little bit crunchy. I use a variety of nuts. I love piñon nuts. They're very, very special and dear to me. We have a good relationship. I also love almonds. Almonds are nice to use in a lot of dishes as well. And of course, I love my fancy cheeses, so I do like to use a little bit of cheese just to make everything very good, kick it up a notch. Okay, so with this obviously is just some bread, which is very easy to make tapas with bread, crackers, and I like to put a little bit of olive oil. You can toast it, and I definitely recommend some fresh rosemary with this one. I'm running out of olive oil. I have to open my other bottle. We go through a lot of olive oil around here. I put it on everything. So today, with the carbohydrates, if you believe that carbohydrates are bad, we'll just call this the naughtier way to eat tapas with this medley. I don't believe that it's bad, and I eat my carbohydrates all the time. It's all about balance and moderation, and that's what's great about eating tapas style. It is practicing moderation opposed to staying away from the foods that you really love. And good food is too good to stay away from, so why would you do that? Okay, here is a beautiful tapas style on bread. Now I'm going to make a wrap. And I like wraps because they're really popular with the kids. They're easier to eat. And you can heat up your tortilla just for about 5 to 7 seconds in the microwave to make it softer, a little bit easier to roll, but I'm just going to go for it. With this, I want the consistency just to be a little bit more rich, so I'm going to put some rice in here as well, and I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of olive oil and some honey. Just a little bit. Makes such a big difference. And these are great miniature wraps. I just have the small, not the tiny, the small tortilla size. This is how I do that, and they're beautiful. They're perfect. Of course, I'm going to make my cabbage one that I made yesterday. They are colorful. They're just a perfect tapas. If you want to make something impressive, these are beautiful colors displayed on your plate. I like to use a white plate because it shows the natural beauty of all the colors that you're using in your food. It showcases everything a lot better than a complicated design or coloring of another plate. But that's just me. I like my food to stand out. So I put goat cheese on my cabbage, and what I did was I just steamed it for about 7 minutes. Everything's like 7 minutes. I gotta say 7, it's my favorite number. I just put my mixture in here on top, and surprisingly, they're very easy to eat. You will love the crunchiness and the flavor that the cabbage has with the cheese and the medley inside. It's to die for. It really is fabulous. And it's up to you. If you want to make it a little bit more rich, you can always add a little bit of brown rice to it. But for this, it's just perfect the way that it is. So there is that. I will take a photograph and put it on hotfortapas.com like I do all of my dishes. So that is 3 different styles of this beautiful medley, and now I'm going to do a little bit of pasta. And my pasta got a little bit sticky from waiting for me, and all I do in that case is I just put a little bit of filtered water on top. And gently just loosen it up. There, that's much better. I love to work with pasta. Any kind of pasta. And you don't need very, very much, just a little tiny bit. Because when you're running low on energy, it's so nice to recharge with a little bit of simple carbohydrates, not going to hurt you. So I put about a serving and a half pasta. And what I'm going to end up doing is just rinsing that pasta one more time. There's a lot of starch left on it. And if you're making a pasta sauce, leave the starch on it and then put all of your other ingredients. It'll make it thicker, richer, a better consistency for your pasta. Okay, now I'm just going to put my medley in. And this is very colorful, in neutral tones. It looks very earthy. But of course, it's a little bit different because we put the cinnamon in. And I use cinnamon on my pasta in a lot of the dishes that I make. It's very good for you. And it makes it just a little bit different, which I love. Again, rosemary would be very beautiful with this. And I don't have any fresh rosemary, but what I have is a dried Italian seasoning. And that's beautiful. And I'm just going to do a light drizzle, honey. Perfect. So I put a little bit on the side of the plate, so if you want to pick it up with your ingredients, it's right there. And I'm going, just for aesthetic value and a little bit of a crunch for something fun, I'm just going to cut up some of my cabbage because it's so beautiful and vibrant. And I'm going to use this to decorate the top because it can use a little splash of color, especially this color. That's nice. Remember, with all of your medleys, you can do a variety of different dishes. And lastly, you can make a rice, a very small rice bowl with this medley. I like to put olive oil on my rice, of course. I have not done that yet, other than when I was cooking it. A little bit of salt. Sometimes I pour the salt in my hand so I can see how much I'm putting in. Just a pinch will do. And my very delicious, oh my God, you're not going to believe how good this is, medley. And again, just a little splash of color. And you have yourself a perfect little meal. And with this, I like to use brown rice. It's just a heartier rice. The texture to me is just a lot fuller than the white rice. So I tend to stick with brown rice most of the time. Okay? I'm going to take a picture of all these different styles that I use this medley for so you can get some ideas of how far you can take your mixture. I like to cook a lot, put it in the fridge, and take it out and use it in different ways. We have 5 teenagers in the house, so if I'm going to go through that effort of chopping everything up, which I love to do, but it does take time. This is a time saver. Once you do it once, you can have it for 1 or 2 days. Everybody will love it and find a really delicious and fun way to snack on it or have it for a meal. Okay, I hope you liked this segment of Hot for Tapas, and go to my site where I place all the photographs as well as the list of ingredients. Please do try this, and buen provecho.